Good morning. New weekend, new pickups, new buys, all of which I'm going to share with you today. First and foremost, I went to my dealer to pick up a coin that was graded, and it's going to be probably the biggest find of the year so far, cherry picking wise for me, and I'd like to share it with you and see what you guys think. But first of all, I spotted this selection of Canadian nickels, all in a coffee can. And this is stuff that my dealer has been saving for the past couple weeks, and it totaled just over 350. So I went and bought them. Okay, I got them for 80% of what the face value is, to take into account the exchange rate between U.S. and Canada. Still came out a pretty good bargain because the exchange rate isn't a huge difference these days compared to what it was 15 years ago. My main motivation, not so much to stack the nickel content that you see here, but to look for some nice varieties, older dates, and it did not disappoint. So first of all, I went through all the nickels. It took like maybe half an hour, 45 minutes last night. Came out that someone must have cracked a couple rolls of these 1967 commemorative nickels that are all PL, like proof-like finish, with exception of this one. It doesn't look as hot. Okay, that's what that looks like there. I don't know what I'll do with it if it's sellable the way it is, even if I re-rolled it. There was a whole bunch of them. I'd figure, there was these, and then there was more that I put in the 1960s pile over here, or the rows. But let's go ahead and start from left to right. Here's all the 20s that I found. Now, I'm not going to go through every coin. There's a 28 that's got some sort of environmental damage. 27. This one is beat to hell, too. And a 1923, which looks a little bit better, but I pulled aside some nicer ones. This one looks like someone took some tin snips to it. All right. So these are the 1930s. I did get one of the older George Aubers. Was that 1931? There's some 38s in there, some 37s with dots. Here's the 40s. Okay, picked up a couple of the V Victory World War II nickels. Now, these have rust on them. But let's talk about the composition while we're on that subject. They weren't all nickel. Starting in 1922 to 1942, it was 100% nickel. And in 1942, strictly, they used a material called tombac, which is a combination of 88% copper and 12% zinc. And they also did that in 1943. And these ones right here, it's steel with a combo nickel chromium hybrid plating. Sometimes they don't get the edges very good, where the reading would be on like a quarter. So that's why you get rust issues. Plus, when you drop them on the table, they sound like just plain steel discs. It doesn't have that nice high-pitched ring to it. And getting into the 1950s, from 1946 to 1951, it's 100% nickel, so we're back there. And in 51, where you denote the change in the color of the metal, which is a little bit more bluer, we're back to the steel with that plating. Now it's from 51 to 54, and then from 55 all the way up to 1989, 100% full nickel all the way around, so it'd be all the 60s that you see here, 70s, and the 80s. And then this is my stuff that I got from the 90s and 2000s. So as you can see, the main concentration of dates is all in the 60s, which is this row right here. By the way, in the 40s and 50s, nothing huge. The 47s I did get some of the maple leaf and the plain variety, but no dots. The dots are, they're one of the key dates in the series. But the biggest key date is the 1925 and the 1926 FAR 6, where the 6 is actually spaced a little bit more from the maple leaf on the reverse. So that's the 50s, 60s. I went through all of it. There's a variety for 1964, which has an extra water line. Did not find one of those, and there was probably maybe 20 in here that I did get. And in 63 and 64, there's also another variety called the metal turn and the coin turn. The metal turn is where you flip a coin, and the obverse and reverse will be straight up, back to back. And the coin turn, which is traditionally what you see in the U.S. coins, if you flip a coin on its axis from the north and south, then the backside will be reversed. They'll be upside down. The coin turn are the more valuable, and they could go into several hundreds depending on grade. The 70s, I did find a couple varieties, which I'll show with you here toward the end of the video, along with the key, what I feel was the key dates I did pull out of this lot, while not super huge. Let's see, those are the 80s, nothing much there, 90s and 2000s. So from 1990 all the way up to the current, they've done a couple different types. They've done the steel with the chromium plating on there, or the nickel plating. So that's what you'll see on a lot of the modern nickels. In the 60s, I pulled a lot of these nice uncirculated type coins. Here is a 68, 65, 66. There's probably a dozen or so in there of that condition, and the coin is blinking at you because of the ceiling fan. Someone drilled into this 53. The 1953 has a variety as well with the shoulder folds. There's a couple different varieties with the shoulder fold and leaf combo, and there's another rusty one. Okay, and here are the picks that I pulled here. I have three 1977s, all of which have the lower second 7. I don't know if you could see that, but that's a little bit less common find out of all of these, and they're all in great shape. We're talking XFAU, especially this first one right here. Might even pull for a mid-state. These traditionally go for 5 to 10, 15, 20 bucks, depending on grade. So if you find a 77 in circulation, check to see if that second 7 is a little lower. Pulled 3 1948s. It's a lesser mintage coin. So that's what those look like. 48 in general is a common key date for all the denominations of Canadian coins, with exception of maybe the penny or the cent. And the cleanest George obverses, the 27, let's see here, a 29 and a 35, all problem free, but they're circulated. So that's what collecting Canadian nickels is all about. If you don't get into the silver issues, which are prior to 1922, it's a relatively inexpensive set to put together if you wanted to do so. The only, I wouldn't say stopper, but something that'll slow you down is, of course, the 1925. Those generally sell for over $100, $150 in a, kind of like a fine VF condition. So with that being said, definitely a great set to put together. Who knows if the Canadian government is going to do away with this denomination, seeing as how the cent has gone away by now. There has been lots of speculation, a lot of rumors, a lot of talk about the nickel possibly following suit. So, would that make the nickel any more of a desirable hoard-type coin when it comes to coin roll hunting? Maybe not necessarily, but it's something to pay attention to, especially if the nickel goes bye-bye, and, bye-bye, and they all get melted. Can you imagine all the key dates and different varieties that get melted with it? That's kind of how I saw the Canadian cent. So it's a tough pill to swallow at this point. Again, thank you guys for checking out the video. It's something a little bit different. We've talked about Canadian cents in the past, but I'd figure I'd bring this up to your attention. It was a nice cheap score. If you called it a score, I could easily triple my money with what I have here with the right type of marketing. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and pop them into the comments section below. And I appreciate you guys being loyal followers. And, I'll see you for the next several videos. We got a lot of great stuff. Silver bullion, an exceptionally rare Civil War token that I picked for dirt cheap, and it's worth tons of money. So stay tuned for those, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.